Hello everybody, starting again our live hacking stream. Uh, this stream will be a little different from the other one that I did before. The idea here is not to do just some recon, but to actually test an application that I developed. This is something that I'm testing again. I'm testing this thing to do a video that's probably going to be one of my next videos about a way that you can create real applications without even knowing how to program and to start to hacking, start to learn hacking, to practice hacking, and things like that. So that's it. I want to start first with a little different thing here. I start doing a clip from my live hacking clip that I'm posting daily on my YouTube channel. But I believe here that everybody knows that AI powered development is a thing now that developers are way that developers are creating many applications using AI. That's the vibe coding that it was a thing that got viral last week. So here I brought a news for you that I want to share. Let me change my screen here. Oops. Wrong camera. Let me change it here. Let me change capture. Technical problems are good. Let me change in here. Okay, we're back. We're back. Technical problems here. I'm new to this thing of creating live streams, but here again. So let me see if everything is okay with our stream first. Okay. I believe that we're live again. Sorry for the problem here, but let's start again. So I believe that everybody is familiar with the concept that developers are nowadays using way more AIs to develop their codes. And also last week, some concept gone viral. The concept was to do a vibe coding, create a application entirely using AI, just fixing problems. So here's what I did. I came here first with a news from an article for a blog here. Let me get here. All right. Now everything is working as expected. So AIs are a thing. Developers are develop many applications using AI. We're going to see in the next years a lot of applications developed in AIs. But what's the problem here? This code that these artificial intelligences are developing now is not the best security that exists. It does not use the best security practice, the best security protections that developers usually use. So here's what I did for our stream. I created an entire application using AI. Let me get the link here for you. But basically, I created the entire application using AI. And the intention of this string is for us to hack the application, to understand how we can achieve some impact, understand how we can uh, hack this application and gain some advantage. So this is the intention of this. We're doing a real life hacking using a real application that I developed, and let's try to see what you can get. Uh, I developed this application using AI called V0. I didn't see the code that this application developed. That's a thing that we can take a look after this. And we're going to discover it together. I know that it uses modern technologies, modern web application frameworks that developers are using. So the idea is that we can take a look and understand how we can hack this application. Okay, so let's go. First, I want to introduce you what is this application. Basically, it's a messaging app. It has some MFA protections, some admin functionalities that I asked for the AI to develop for me. The MFA protection is kind of boring here. So, a bit because although it's an MFA protection, you'll see when I get there. But when I do this MFA, it gives me the code. But just for example purposes, this is the way that I develop. I didn't want to use any kind of applications and any kind of third-party apps to send this email. I can give the link for everyone, as I said. So hello callbacks, hello Peyton. The application is this one. You can try hacking it. Okay? I'm gonna give you the link here. So basically it's the chat for you can try yourself, try to hack this application, see if you can achieve some kind of that we can start together. This is a fake application, but developed using real technology. Not a application that is in any kind of bug bounty programs, especially because if it was, I would not be allowed to show it for. Okay, so let's go. Let's create an account here. I'm using a temp mail for this. Yep, any temp mail one. Okay, let's wait here. Website translated. My temp mail. Let's create an account and a password here. This is a cool thing. I asked for the AI to use some security concepts while developing this application. So in theory, this application may be well secured, but let's see. I didn't even started to test it. Let me put a random password here. Okay. Okay. Let's create an account. There's a name email validation. Let's see email that I have. Okay. And confirm per email. This is a great tip also. The thing that I like to do in every test that I do, it's the first thing I like to do is not to start intercepting your requests, looking for some kind of automations to take a look if there's a vulnerability. I like to start, I log into the application, see which functionalities it has, how we use these functionalities. I go slowly understand what the application does, how can I achieve most important phase. So again, get my temp mail here again. Oh, Camel, thank you. I hope that you like this live stream either. Okay, so mail. Let me log in. That's the MFA that I said. Basically, it appears to be a valid MFA, but if I click in generate new code, it gives me the sandbox mode code. And this is a trick that I had to do, so I didn't to use any third-party apps for doing this MFA send here for teaching purpose. But still, this is a valid functionality. We can take a look at it. We can't. Let me change the app here, the path here, and we have this this protection wall. We can't go into the content if we don't execute this kind of authentication. The code that gives for us here, and this is the app, basically. And let me see what we have. We have a recent chats section here that will probably give us our recent chats, the people that we talked, the recent messages. We can search for users here. I don't have any other user test. Users found because there is no other user. What happens if I put my user here? Okay. To be useful. Oh, okay. I can put my own user and messages. This is interesting. The messages step I can anything here. That's free. Okay. I can send self-destructure after being. That's an interesting function. The way that I asked for the AI to develop this is this message needs to be destroyed after a user saw it, so it's not supposed to the user to continue seeing this message after. We can add some images, some file. Okay. Also, we have a storage section. That's also interesting. I can see everything that I uploaded to. I can attachment document. But the recent chats got updated. It shows that this. Here we have our account. Then we have this avatar, username, everything here. Mark. See the places that the username is being shown in the full name. Okay, and the field cannot be changed. Also, if that we can test. Nice. I updated more, and this is it. This is the most part of the app. Hello. Take it correctly. Also, we can log out here. Okay. I know that this application has a admin dashboard, but I don't know where is it. I didn't take a look where the AI put it. Nice. Let me see. Let me create another user. Check how is the interaction between both accounts. Getting here another browser. My second browser, this will be my victim attack. Okay, create another account. So this is a cool thing for us to use for testing using temp mail, so we can create multiple accounts. If you're a user on HackerOne or Bugground, you have your alias, and I don't know if everybody knows, but for alias you can create like Bug Bounty, Marco, account 1, I have to run for it. You can create multiple accounts by using. Oh, tips for beginners. I have some videos, tips for beginners that you can take a look. I believe in this stream you'll see many different things, different from XSS. XSS is not a thing that I will be looking here today, and mostly just if you saw something that appears to be vulnerable or but my main focus here is to achieve impact in other ways, mostly access control vulnerabilities, logic, that. So maybe you can learn things like that today. Okay, let me create my victims account. Yeah. For me to. Okay, account was created. So the message. Let's confirm our account. Let me copy this link. Basically, this is the validation that it's the out of v1 verified token as my token. Oh, there's a redirect to here. I cannot not test this. Oh, it's Supabase, not my own. Okay, maybe because it's Supabase, be vulnerable. But JavaScript alert 1 is a thing that I need to test every time, as I believe it is not vulnerable. But still. Okay. In this scenario, what could be a vulnerability, not a one, not some great one, but let me see what happens if I use web.site here. This is a place. This is similar to the way that burp character works, but the browser. Yeah, this webhook, this unique URL here, redirect to. Okay, I got redirected. My app. Direct to. Here's that it validated somehow. Oh, thanks for the tip. Let me. This is a thing that I needed to do before. I need to remove this. The my noise reduction from this mic. Thanks for reminding me. See here the configuration. Remember where is my configuration for this? Filters. I'll remove completely the noise reduction filter, and you'll say for me if it's good or bad. I removed the filter here. It's really noisy. I'm here. Let me change it again. Added the reduction. Okay. How is it right now? It's better. Stop the cutting. Let me know. So continuing, I created my account. Let's log in into our account. Yeah, the open threshold. Okay, let me see again the open threshold. Okay. Reduce. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. How is it right now? Let me know. But continuing. Okay. We created our account. Let me get here my account and do a signing. Okay. And again doing the MFA here. So, okay. Now I saw. Appears that. Okay. I did it. Maybe it's better now. So continue. My both accounts are here. Let me test what happens when I send a message from my first account to my second account. So here my profile. Oh, I get my user here. Uh, and I send it with Marco. And it appears that the I did something wrong here because although it appeared that I added my username, it adds my email. So as you can see here, my email and my username seems like the same thing. So this is something that happens a lot with AI, but will not hurt our testing here. Let's send a message here. So test123 and my message. Let me see it in my other account. Refresh my page, and here's my other message. Nice. So my user, the user that sent this message can delete a message here. If I delete this message, it's not supposed to appear in my second account here. And refresh the page. Nice. Not appearing anymore. Let's start checking some requests now. The first thing I want to do is to open my burp suite. Hey Captain, yeah, it will be saved. It will. I'm recording it, and it will be available right after the live stream ends. Okay, opening my burp suite. Now let's add. Let me see if I can install extensions in this yes mode Chrome. Proxy. This is a good extension for. Oh, I cannot use. So I'll be using it in my Firefox here. This is a good extension for you to quickly enable and disable your burp suite, your proxy here. You configure it, the configuration, you pass the configuration to this extension, and you can just enable and disable it here by selecting here the proxy one. So now that I enabled and refresh my page, I start to see my requests being made here. That's it. So now we can take a look into interesting things. Another thing that I want to do, and let me allow it to be running. I will access my recon machine here, and I want to use a nuclei passing. Yeah, that's it. Nuclei passing my application here. let's see the results of nuclei. If we see if it will grab anything or not. We will find any vulnerabilities or not. Right now I can see some requests being made. I can see a some requests. This is normal HTML requests. Oh no, not normal HTML requests. Okay, but it appears to be some next things. Yeah, the first thing that yeah, this is kind of sad. This is kind of sad. This MFA verified here. Let me test my first vulnerability here. Uh, yeah, as I'm saying, the first thing that I want you to look is to understand the application. As I said, I want to send some message in the scenario. I want to see how it handles. And this is the first thing that I noticed. The application uses cookies for our authentication. It's an auth token here. And something got my attention was this MFA verified here. What happens if I automatically add this MFA verified to all my requests? So let's see. Let me create. Oh, actually, I don't even need to test this way. Let me get my email here, my temp mail, and I will do a login. 3. Okay. So this page is supposed to be blocked by MFA. If I let me get the complete URL here that was posted. This is slash chat. If I try to access slash chat, it appears to be vulnerable. It's allowing me, but I know what happened in this scenario. This scenario happened because the app was poorly constructed. Let me see my storage here and see the. Let me change this browser language also, and so it will be better for you to take a look. So, language. Remove. Okay. And let me see. Yeah, I can. Yeah, we'll be this way for now. But we have this cookie MFA verified here. What happens if I remove? If I remove this cookie, we go back into the MFA. So now if I try to access this slash chat, it's not working. I have some kind of block here. So this tells me that this validation is purely front-end validation. It's pure client side. And if it's client side, means that the user can change it. So let me create again a cookie here. I will name it this cookie as MFA verified, and the value will be true. What happens now when I try to access the application? The application is vulnerable. Okay, so this is what this is what appears in this scenario. Let me refresh my browser. Yeah, it didn't work. I believe this configuration is somehow. Let me see. Let me go back here with my camera and let's check it out. Okay, my camera. So let me change it here. A minute. Okay. Yeah, it will be saved. This is true. Okay. problems, technical problems. I'm using Chrome actually. I don't really like using using Firefox for the scenarios. So okay, let me use Chrome. It will be easier for us, easier for you to follow the stream. Okay. So again, here we are. I'm using Chrome. Let me open the application. Let me get the URL again. This is the URL. We get. Let me get the email again. Here. Use. So I'll show it again. The vulnerability is it's pretty simple actually. Because the MFA validation is client side in this scenario, we can bypass it by just changing the headers here. So this is my account. As you can see, if I try to access /chat here, I cannot access. It will roll back here as for the MFA route. But if I edit my cookies here, go to my inspector tools, put it here to application, and modify my cookies as I saw the cookie that is being used in my HTTP history. It's this MFA verified cookie. If I add this MFA verified cookie here to true and refresh my page, and not refresh, and go to /chat here, now we can see that our MFA was bypassed. This is obviously a simple version of this vulnerability, but this is a valid vulnerability also. If you report it for a hacker run, for example, although we need to have the access to a user credentials, you're still able to bypass a security method of an account. So unfortunately, you can report it as a very impactful vulnerability, especially because CSS calculator, let me get one, because first you need a valid credentials of an account. So if we check here with my CVSS square validator, you have in this scenario a attack vector network, attack complexity high, because you depend on having the credentials of an account. Also, you have a privilege required. In this scenario, I report privilege required as high because I need to have access to an account in order to do it. User interaction known state. You can consider it changed in this scenario because you in a way found a way to bypass the scope of what we're testing. Now the vulnerable component in this scenario will be like the MFA validation, but it gives you access to the entire user account. And confidentiality can be high, impact high, and availability known. So this would be a vulnerability with a 7.7 base score. So it will still be high, a high vulnerability, I believe, but not a critical vulnerability. But okay, first valid vulnerability found in this application. Good, that's good. Let's continue. Let me get my account again. I want to send a message to BB with Marco. I thought of creating a Discord server. That's a thing that I'm currently looking into, but at the moment I don't have the available time to manage this kind of community, if you know what I mean. I don't have the time, or I don't have anyone to be a moderator for this. And I think to have my name attached, it needs some kind of some kind of moderation, because if not, it will probably be not good. Like many wrong things happening there. Okay, test 1, 2, 3. A basic test that we can do, but if you saw my video on how to hack modern web applications that I did earlier, that I did was like my first video. So normal cross-site scripting will probably not be a thing in applications developed to use modern web application, modern web frameworks like React and Angular and Vue.js and Flutter. But it's also a thing that we can try. We can try. Don't hurt to try, but it's not a thing that I would invest my time into. So, for example, a simple cross-site scripting that you can try here is using image source X on error alert 1, for example. I know that we will not trigger this XSS payload here. I can get here my inspect tools and take a look into this at HTML. As you can see, it's properly being encoded. As I said in my video, React by default encodes this kind of things, encodes this kind of payloads, and will not trigger this way. With React, what you want to look is to ways to transform first open redirects into a cross-site scripting. So basically, if you don't know how this can happen, is using I said it also in another video of mine, but this happens when you use a JavaScript URI. That's JavaScript alert1, for example. Can use here for first show JavaScript dot alert1. This is a transforming the open redirection into a cross-site scripting. This just happens when the redirection are being done in the JavaScript. Not so if you do a request and it responds with a location header, you cannot transform this open redirection into it. But if it's done by JavaScript, you can transform this way using JavaScript URIs. And also, when facing a React application, you like to take a look into DOM.xss. DOM.xss basically uses also JavaScript code to inject things in page. So things that we need to take a look at places that use inner HTML, dangerous set inner HTML things. But this kind of exploitation will not be valid, will not happen in most scenarios in cross-site scripting. But still, you can try putting your payload here and checking the places that it's being triggered, but not something that I would personally focus in these scenarios. Okay, so let's test these file uploads here. I want to send an image in this thing here. I can get, let me get an image from my computer. I can get from my documents, and I can put, for example, my avatar here. Okay, so let's follow the burp history when I do this image upload. So when I click on send message, did a touch, okay, or read the message. It created a message as it appeared. Self-destruct false, invalid false, okay. And after that, it okay, it updated my message using adding a attachment URL here. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Oh no, DOM.xss it's not useless in bug bounty. I found many vulnerabilities using DOM.xss actually. As I said, in React applications, don't bother trying to bypass this encoding. React is a web framework developed by Meta, and it's really well secured for these cases, so don't bother trying to bypass in the scenarios. You can try to bypass if you saw a old PHP application that uses a young sanitizing method that is not that was not well maintained like the sanitization with my method. So this is not something that I would personally be trying to bypass it, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So okay, this upload was interesting. I got so many insights right now. The first thing that I want to try is to upload things that is not a image here. So let's get here my terminal, and I will be creating recon data, live stream. So let's create a test.txt file, and this txt file will be a hello world, for example. Let me try to upload here this image. I go here to recon data, live stream. It appears to be. Then it appears that I can upload these files. So what happens when I click here on send? Yeah, I can upload, but it's probably intended in this scenario because you can also add a file here, not only image files but any type of files. But this gives me another insight that I don't know if everyone knows, but you can execute XSS by doing a image upload also. How you can do this? Let me try to create a index.html file here. No, not index. Let me try to create a xss.html file here. This file will be a normal HTML file. I can add a title, and the title will be XSS, and my body will have a script tag, and this script will contain my XSS payload. So alert XSS works, for example. Let me try again. Now upload this image here, this file xss.html, and see what happened. Yeah, normally it appears that okay, my file is being attached here, and nothing triggers at all. But what happens when I open this file, this HTML file? Okay, this is something that I wasn't expecting that my application would be fixing, but it is. Some cases the application can return this file without sanitization. But so if this file is being presented in a in-scope domain, for example, this in my application scenario, this would be an in-scope domain, and you can put the HTML code here and it executes. You have an XSS basically. You uploaded a file that you can use JavaScript. It's running in the context of the application and it's working well. But the normal way to prevent this kind of attack is to returning. Let me see the response here. Yeah, the normal way to prevent this kind of attack would be adding a content disposition header here in the response, saying that this is a attachment file. So this way the server will never render the file that I'm giving, just serving it as an attachment, just serving it as a download. So because the application don't return my file in a as an attachment, as I said, it gives me, it makes me want to try to use a XSS SVG file here. What is this? SVG file, it's a normal image file, but the difference is that this image uses XML to create the file, and also you can use script tags with JavaScript, and these images get executed, this script gets executed. So let me try again, create another file, xss.svg, and I'll be putting another message here called xss works. So this is a little similar to my HTML file that I showed before, but the difference is that this is not the HTML file, it's a SVG file. So let me try again. Now I'll be uploading this SVG file here. And when I hit on send, my image was correctly uploaded, okay. But what happens when I open this image? And as you can see, my alert is being triggered. So, and it's running on the context of my application. So this means that I executed an XSS in my application. I can do anything that I would do in a normal XSS attack in this in this file here, in this file. So let me try, for example, I'll be recreating, let me copy this image here, and I'll create an xss2.svg and open my xss2. And now I'll be adding more debug alerts here. The first thing that I want to show is a document.domain to prove that my application, that my XSS is being running on the context of my application. And I want to put here actually document.cookies.cookie also, so I can see that the user can grab information from this application, from the victims of the attack. So let me get my second SVG here, and when I hit send, okay, the first thing, it proves that my XSS is running on my application. This is the application's URL, the application's API URL in this scenario. And the second thing, there's no cookies in this scenario, but let me add a cookie here so we can show as proof of concept. So page cookie, the value will be a super secret value. So I manually add a cookie, but in a real application will be any cookies stored there. So again, and now my fake cookie, super secret cookie, here super secret value is being shown. Yeah, that's the kind of XSS that I would personally look into when testing this kind of applications, is to look for XSS in different places, not this normal XSS like spamming payloads and trying to bypass any encoding here. What I assume when I'm testing XSS in this kind of applications will be that I'm not the super hacker, the elite hackers that will bypass a security measure created by Meta and that is open source and maintained by a million people in the world. So when I see that the application is encoding properly, I just skip this test. I'll not like trying, okay, so the lower than value here is being sanitized, so what's the payload that I need to use, and try to spam payloads. That's not a thing that I would personally try. So okay, again here in our CVSS score calculator, this will be a attack vector network again. Attack complexity for me it's low in this scenario. Privilege required it's low, none, because any user can create an account in this application. User interaction in this case is required because the user needs to click to access this image in order to the access has been triggered. It's not it's not a thing that triggers automatically when the user opens the application. The user needs to have execute in action. In this scope, it's unchanged. Impact here, we can consider now. This part will depends on how you prove the impact of your vulnerability. But normally, and reflected XSS as this is would be a confidentiality impact high and a low and integrity impact low, both lows, because you didn't prove anything. So the CVSS score in this case will be 5.4. And I believe this will be a medium vulnerability. So my key secret for you here, let me change the camera because this probably will become a live hacking clip that will be posted daily on my channel. So I invite you to take a look there. So my key advice for you here is to, in these scenarios, you need to create a better proof of concept for your attacks. So don't report an XSS just by just adding a alert one here, or from my example, alert document.cookies. You you need to prove that you can achieve a great impact in your case. A thing that I like to do a lot in these scenarios is to, because in most cases my application will have my credentials of my users, I like to create a proof of concept that will show that I can modify data from this user, and especially authentication data. For example, changing a user email and password, or if it's a bank, making a transfer using that user. So this way you can easily transform an impact that has a low confidentiality impact and low integrity impact into a vulnerability with high in both cases. And this becomes a medium vulnerability into a high vulnerability, an almost critical vulnerability, actually. So here my advice. I know you have the. I know you have the. You become anxious to report your vulnerability when you find something, but don't report it right away. Take a look, think in the impact and how you can actually actually stole some data, some POI, or stole some account of a user before reporting. Yeah, Captain Security, report it quickly before anyone else does. That's not a thing actually. For me, it's not a thing. I prefer to report a high severity vulnerability than reporting a low severity vulnerability just for reporting. But that's my style of hacking. So what we can do in this scenario here, as we saw, this vulnerability specifically don't have any any vulnerable tokens, any vulnerable API keys for us to exploit here, because it appears to be in a place that is only used for attachments. But what you can do in this scenario is try to, what I like to do is to take a look into the request that is being made in the application. And for example, if I saw that I have a request that uses my token and I have that token, maybe we can execute, maybe we can execute a password change from this user, an email change for this user, and we basically execute an account takeover for this case. So that's it. So when reporting, do you think it's better to prove that we can achieve an actual danger scenario if executed, but do we need to change it with other vulnerabilities like CRF or to achieve a higher impact? Not at all, not at all. In my cases, I don't actually look into another. I don't actually change SCRF, for example. I like to chain with the request that is being made on the application. The truth is that just proving that you have access to the cookies of a user does not prove that you can achieve a great impact on an application, because most probably these applications will have a refresh token, that the token will be refreshed every now and then, and if you just prove that you have access to the cookies, you just prove that you lower down the window of your attack. For example, if the cookies is refreshed every 5 minutes, you have just 5 minutes to execute some impact on the victims of the attack. But for example, if you get, let me show in this scenario, let me show a way that I change the email of this user, the username of this user, to another user here. So let me follow my burp suite, and let's change to test.com, for example. Update profile. I can see here that a request is being made for this this API. So if I prove that I can execute this request in my my XSS scenario, for example, using a fetch API for executing this request, I can prove that I can take over an account, because if I change the email, I probably have a functionality to recover my account, that I will receive a link in my email and things like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I would personally take a look. Yeah, that's it, Captain Security. Self-XSS is good to chain with CSRF. Exactly. Especially, for example, let's imagine that in this application, when I changed my username, the payload that is being put in my username triggers my application. So if I can change it, my self-XSS with a CSRF, that will change the user's username, I have a great impact there. Okay, so let me return here with my actual email, so I don't miss my account here. So my email would be this one. Let me get here. It's loading. I saw someone saying that we should try RCE in this context, but I know for sure that RCE will not be a thing in this case. Why I know for sure in this case? Because let me look for my here chat. Why I know that the RCE will not be a thing here? Because when I uploaded my HTML file was not rendered in my server. It was not rendered because the document frame allow script permissions here. So what is happening? It's because this domain is not allowing scripts to be executed, basically. So I can show, let me create a RC here. It will be PHP file and PHP info, and closing my PHP file here. I know for sure that this won't be executed, but let's try. I put it here, my RC, and let's test. And as I said, it's not being executed. This server does not use PHP. Normally, web servers that are using React will not be using PHP for this kind of things. And this kind of reverse proxy that uses shell uploads for executing your RC, for me it seems like pretty rare nowadays, just for like really old applications that this happens. So but that's a good thing to try, but not something that I personally would try in this scenario, because I know that it won't be executed. Okay. Nice. Another thing that caught my attention was that when I uploaded a image here, where is the thing that I want to look? When I upload in attachments, is the request that uploads my attachments, and after that we can see here that it makes an upload, a patch on my message, changing the attachment URL here. So what happens when I get this same request that ran before and put, for example, a youtube.com bug bounty with Marco. For example, I will be putting another URL, this URL from YouTube, not a URL that the application is expecting. Okay, it answers me with a no content, and no content means that it probably was updated. Let me refresh my page. I can see that my URL changed. And what happens when I click this link? Oh, the link was correctly interpreted. Oh, I spelled my own channel name wrong. That's sad. Now I fixed it. And when I click, my channel will be opened. So, okay, does not appear to have any URL validation in this scenario. I can execute I can add any URL and try to exploit it here. A thing that I want to try is to add a JavaScript URL, JavaScript alert 1. And let's see what happens when I execute it. It appears to be vulnerable. Maybe. When I click it here, yeah. Now, what's vulnerable do you mean? The URL being not sanitized, not validated. Okay, the URL appears to be rendered correctly here, my JavaScript URL, but when I click it, my XSS don't trigger. Let me see what happened here. Okay, understood what happened. Basically, the backend did not validate it, but React itself, as I said before, blocked a JavaScript URL as a security precaution. Blocked it here. That's why nothing executed in this case, because React is protecting the developer in this case. So that's the thing that I said. React has many built-in protections, especially against XSS. Maybe we can bypass it some way. Maybe we will need to take a look into deeper. But okay. This vulnerability that I said, Vinaville, don't know how to say this right. It's basically a improper input validation. It depends on the scenario. Many bug bounty programs will not accept this vulnerability as it is, because you cannot achieve any impact with just uploading an intended URL in this case. But it's more like a thing that you want to take a look that will probably allow you to find different vulnerabilities. For example, in this case, I know that I can execute a JavaScript URL here, and when I execute the JavaScript URL, I can achieve an XSS. If an application does some kind of backend validation, we can, and it's not validating the URL that I'm putting here, basically you can maybe achieve an SSRF in this case, you know. So I wouldn't personally report the vulnerability just because the application allows the user to send arbitrary values to the URL, but it's kind turns a light on my head to think that maybe some place will be vulnerable in this case. A thing that I did before, like when I started and was accepted, was, for example, in a avatar URL, I I kind of got some impact on my vulnerability because I discovered that I could host an image in my avatar, and every time the user opens my profile, I can track the user, the IP that opened my profile, and things like that. But it's a really low vulnerability in this case. It's not a it not does not have a great impact for things like that. But something that you can try. You can try to report a a tracking vulnerability that you can track the user that opened your profile, track information, get PI from the user about this. Okay, so let's take a look. If I put, for example, google.com and add this character here, let me see what happened. Load our page. Okay. And when I clicked, oh, now my browser is blocking the request because it's obviously a malicious request. But okay, now React did not filter my request in this case. Let's take a look. It's possible to add JavaScript your ice React href. Let's see. Not the thing that I was looking here. Maybe let me not try with alert functions. Let me try with things like let me try with another kind of URL. Throw error test, for example. Let me see if this vulnerability is also being filtered in this way. JavaScript void 0 appears to work, but I don't believe void 0 will allow us to do anything. But it's a test. Can test. Also it's blocking. Maybe it's not variable in this contest. I don't know. I don't really know if this would be vulnerable. But maybe worth taking a look. If someone wants to take a look into this, maybe this is a good spot that it's worth trying to bypass. But I don't know how secure it is. It's this href function, but appears to be some kind of protection. As you said, React seems like super secure, and it actually is super secure. And okay, it makes me wonder if this profile can be vulnerable in the with the vulnerability that I said before. So okay, nice. I have a rest here. Let me change my avatar. I'll be adding this image here and update profile. The profile was successfully updated. Loads my avatar and uploads my avatar URL here. What happens when I add another domain here? Just youtube.com/test. It's also being accepted. So the vulnerability that I said before that you can maybe use it to track users, but it's a super low vulnerability. It's a this one. I will get a webhook site again here, and let me show you how you can exploit this in this scenario. But as I said, it's a super low vulnerability. I don't even think that it's reporting testing. But what happens is this. Let me get my webhook here and put it here on my avatar URL. Let me put it here because I think it will look my IP. So let me put in my other screen. So we don't have problems. Okay. Okay, that's nice. So now let me update my profile with this webhook. Okay, it was updated. So let's imagine in the victim scenario, I'm the victim of this attack. This is the victim of my attack. What happens when I open this page? When I open this page, as you can see, if I take a look into my page, it instantly shows my avatar here. It loads my avatar in a place here, I don't know where, but we can take a look into network. Take a look if webhook.site is being opened. Okay, it's being opened, as I said. So my image is automatically being opened in this user when I open this URL. This means that every time a person accesses my profile or receives a message by me in the scenario, I will have a way to track if this user okay. I have for example, the user can track the user that opened his message, get the IP, get information about this user. Let me take a look into the other webhook here. It was not requested, I believe. Let me test again to see if it's working. Oh, it appears to be blocking, actually. It appears really to be blocking. Not loading my page. Oh, it's webhook.site that's not loading. Okay. Let me use another thing so we can use to track. Not webhook.site in this. I opened a interact.sh page here in another in another browser. So let me get this URL that gives me, and again I'll be updating my image. Okay, send. Now every time the user opens this URL, let me see if I received my information on another page. Oh no, the content. Oh, the CSIP. Oh, that's nice. That's actually the only way that you can block this kind of attack. I didn't saw that the artificial intelligence created a CSIP for this kind of attack, but that's a good one. A really good one. What happens in this case? It's that. Let me see what was my response headers. IP from this content secret policy that didn't allow it. It appears that was not my AI that created this CSIP. Yeah, this application is actually not vulnerable to this attack. The AI, it's kind of surprising me in many scenarios. Many scenarios. But basically what was supposed to happen is was to that the user could uh, open when it opens its profile, I would have received some information about the user in my application there, like IP from the user. It can be for doxing or things like that. Okay, email content HTML injection. That's a thing, but that's really a thing. But in this scenario, it won't be a thing. It won't happen. Basically, because this application uses Supabase for the emails, and the emails are pre-signed here. I like not a not modified by any user input, but that's okay. Nice. Another thing that I want to take a look personally would be like testing the self-destructing after viewing feature that we didn't even started testing, but also there's the storage feature that we also didn't test anything, but that's also a good feature for testing. And there is a forgot password feature that also would be really interesting to test. There's multiple features in there. Multiple features. Yeah, low severity vulnerability. Okay. I think that we'll have to continue like next week. I think that's it for today. I hope that I helped you to learn something new today. I showed many ways to execute an XSS in the context of an application, React application, like how React application handle this kind of attacks, and uh, that's the purpose of this stream. Did you like the content? Did you like this hacking applications developed by AI? I personally wanted before to do a CDF, but CTF it's not my thing. I like to test on real applications, not applications that was developed supposed to be vulnerable like CTFs. So that's why I thought to to create this content attacking a AI application that was developed in a way that most of the developers the users like use the same frameworks that developers use every day, use the same kind of code that people use. So okay, that's it. Thank for the feedback, Vinaville. I'm glad that you like it. Uh, my next stream will be occurring next week, so don't miss it. Next week we'll be doing another live hacking. I think that's better to do it live hacking than a live recon. So I hope to see you there again next week. And for those who is not subscribed here yet, please subscribe to my channel. We'll be posting recorded videos every Tuesday at and our live hacking clips will be posted daily each days of next week. So we have two kind of contents. We have our live stream, three kind of contents actually. Our live stream that occurs every Thursday, our live hacking clips that I'm posting daily, that is clips highlights from this live stream that I'm doing today, and I have a recorded video that is posted every Tuesday. And so that's it. Thank you for your company and see you again next week.